Welcome, Quarter. You caught a live stream first. You did. Welcome. Welcome, David. How you doing? Good to see you again. Yes, so we're seeing a little bit of a move up. Now, is this any surprise? Okay. There we go. A bit of playback there. Welcome, Apex Predator is back again. Loving this move. Yes, indeed. See, this is not a surprise. This is not a surprise. We need to understand that we know the waves. When we know the waves, everything is great, right? This is the whole point I'm trying to make here with everything that I do. This is all. How can you possibly teach people the waves if you cannot consistently bring updates that produce results? How can you do that? It's impossible. How can you do that? It's because the waves speak to me, right? That's why I created Arius Wave. That's the whole point of it, right? And we need to take the time sometimes to understand what's real and what's not, okay? We need to, absorb the truth, all right? If someone's BSing you, then why isn't the move not happening the way they said it would? The proof is in the pudding. It's always in the pudding, right? That's why it tastes so good. Exactly, the waves talk. They do indeed. And it's not easy at first, but it gets easier with practice, okay? And the reason why it's not easy at first, especially when you learn the pattern, is because we're dealing with multiple degrees of trend, okay? Fractal patterns, they're not easy to understand when you first see the Arius wave pattern in its complete entirety. You kind of bamboozled a little bit, because then you got to start thinking, your mind goes to work trying to figure out how do I use this information to put together the picture of every single wave that ever happens in any chart, in any market, right? That's exactly why it's amazing, because how the hell how do you do that, right? There's no other way I could possibly be here right now speaking to you if that wasn't true. What's up, Ecolai? How you doing? What's cooking? What's cooking in XLM? XLM's on the Barbie. It's cooking well. We flipped it over and now it's cooking on the other side. Morning, Johnny P. Good to see you. Morning, Pete. I think it's good morning, Pete. I think it's good morning, Pete, from my memory. How you doing? Going straight up. Ooh, yeah, baby. That's what we want. Welcome, Kabang. Hi. Yeah, so we're going to get into the charts in just a moment. Just want people to join. And, I'm just waiting for this to go up a little bit further. I'm kidding. It's already confirmed the move. And it's doing what I said it would. Right? I know that it took some time, but like we always say, patience is key. And I don't go observing all sorts of charts all over the place, because you know what? Once you learn the pattern, you can apply it to any chart. That's the whole point, right? So if you want to go and learn it, you learn it. and then you can apply it to any chart, all right? I've applied it to many charts. Look at the bullish series. Have I been wrong along the way a few times? Absolutely, right? And I tell you about those moves and why I thought that. And then it just makes you look back at the previous moves, and then you take it from there. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's saying you're going to be a super genius at waves immediately. No. Okay, the pattern RES wave is correct. The interpretations can be wrong sometimes because waves are, they're all unique, but they make the same pattern. So it's a paradox. They're all unique, but they make the same pattern. It's just a matter of learning how to interpret those patterns. That is the key to understanding the moves, and that takes practice, of course. So welcome, Ethan. Good morning to you. Good to see you. Okay, let's switch to the chart now. Good time to switch to the chart. We got a question on confirmation. I think that's a cue right there. All right. So obviously the wave count from last night was correct, right? We broke above the start of wave E, and the end of wave E became a stop, right? This is support, right? So because we broke that magenta line, that's support right underneath it. That's why I called it the sweet spot, because if you happen to be a margin trader or a futures trader in any kind of chart, this is what you're looking for. You're looking for this kind of pattern. But one of the reasons I chose XLM to follow was not only because I see the bigger picture, but also because the waves, they're a lot easier to read compared to other charts. But it's not just that. I just like XLM, right? I like XRP. But everything will have its time. But at the moment, we're in a bear market rally for wave D. So the next confirmation point. So we need to zoom out a little bit here to the 1 hour. Okay, because all degrees, all it is zooming out, right? Because the fractal patterns happen at all degrees. So you're just zooming out to see the next degree up, and then so on and so forth, right? So we saw a confirmation of the end of wave 2. So what does that mean? It means that number one, yes, we have to see 35-cent high broken. You know, just for a peace of mind. And we need to see it happen in wave 3, which is the sharpest part of a move, right? So we need to see that go straight up, smash through that. And you know what? The bigger this A wave is, the better. Okay, so will it break all-time high? Well, that's the general idea, right? That's the whole purpose of what we're doing here. Now we're in a D wave, so this is once again the beginning of the first part of a D wave. Okay, so yes, you can have a mini D wave at the bottom, but you know, this D wave will be much larger because we're using other pieces of evidence as well, right? We're not just using XLM chart, you know, to determine this, right? And this is the problem when you start off with the waves, is that it's very easy to make the mistake of picking a pattern that you see is unfolding, but it's so small and it's actually irrelevant. It's not the larger degree pattern. It's the beginning of the larger degree pattern. So therefore, you have to use other charts. You have to use USD, Bitcoin, right? Even the Dow Jones, right? You've got to use a confluence of charts that are all screaming out their pattern, what they're going to do next using RS wave. You'll know what they're going to do next, right? Now, the Dow Jones, I had a hard time dealing with that last year. That was, and we're still going through the motions with that. But I understand where it's going. It's just, it's so expanded. That particular D wave is so expanded that it's absolutely insanity, right? Because of all the stimulus, because of all the programs and bond buying and, you know, interest rate suppression that's going on through the stimulus. And it's a reaction to the problem, right? So, but the thing is that the solution is actually going to be not necessarily to people's benefits in the long run, but it doesn't matter. Who cares, right? As long as you know what you're doing and you're making your money and knowing when to take it off the table, nobody cares about doom and gloom stories, right? We can have moves up and down, right? You can make money going up and down if you know how, if you know the waves, if you expect certain things to happen, then position yourself in the right way, right? So I'll be discussing more of that, especially with my members over the coming months, because first we need to see confirmation of the first 5 wave move up, which I think will be fairly sharp and could potentially even break that all-time high. So that's what we're looking for here. That's what I'm expecting. So confirmation, yes, next confirmation is 35 cents. The next one after that is 46 cents. And then obviously the high, the beginning of wave C down. But yeah, so this is just the beginning, and I want to go down again to the lower degree just to explain this whole pattern again. So we had wave 1, okay? We had A. That can only be an A, that can only be a B, that can only be a C now that we've seen the D, right? Initially, I thought there could have been a C, D, E pattern, but you know what? Even if you did trade that up from that, it still went up, right? Because the wave E was small. Now, that comes with confidence, right? You need that confidence. You need to have that knowledge first before you can make such decisions. I just kept buying into the dip, right? I didn't care about the dip. I even said it just jumped out of that channel. It's going to jump straight back into it. If you remember that live stream, right? I was wrong back here, but then I realized that I had to go back through the whole previous count. And even though it was not easy, there was still certain pieces of evidence to give off the clues that, yeah, we were looking at a weak wave C, even though the wave 3 was a sharp zigzag. I mean, go figure, right? That was a pain, but what do? It just shows you that this allows you to be wrong, but not too wrong, just enough wrong to make you learn something. And then once you see this pattern unfold the way it has, it gives you extra knowledge because you're saying, okay, you know, we're seeing everything unfold the way that it's supposed to. And we're seeing the start of a move up. We've got the RSI on the daily chart, which is basically locked and loaded, ready to go, right? So we'll bring that up. You know, that's got a nice little way to travel there, you know. I see that one going straight to overbought from here. So, I mean, look at that. You've got, if you're a bit of a candle person, which I encourage you to learn everything you can, but only as supplemental to the waves, right? So in this particular case, we have 3 green candles up, which I believe that's called the 3 rising soldiers, right? When you see 3 candles up in a row, that's a good sign, okay? I have talked about this previously, so I won't go too much into that. We had a couple of pregnant ladies here, which is the harami pattern. That's actually a candlestick pattern, by the way. I'm not just making that up. So we have two pregnant ladies there, which are giving birth to a new trend. I said that yesterday. It might have sounded weird, but it's go talk to Steve Nissen about it. That's his interpretation when he created the Western, when he brought the candles from the east to the west, right? Because Japanese candlesticks, they've been using them for a long time, and he brought them to the west. He translated it all, and very interesting guy. But I tried using them in the beginning, but they are very misleading if you don't know the waves. That's one lesson I learned a long time ago, but it does help to have as much knowledge as you can. And I can also help members with that, as I already have been. So it's just cool to understand why we use candles anyway, right? The first time you load up a TradingView chart, you see candles, right? Whereas in the past, you might have seen bar charts, right? Which are sort of similar, but they don't paint the same kind of picture as a candle does, right? So what do we expect to see from here? What is the deal, right? I think you might be wondering, what is the deal? Now, I know there's a lot of stuff on this chart, which is probably a little bit distracting. So I'll switch to the STR USDT chart for a moment. Okay. So this one doesn't have all the labels on there. This is just a simplified version of what we're seeing. So we're looking for a wave D, right? So the wave D is 3-wave move, right? But if you know what that means, then obviously you know Arias wave. But let's just talk about the first move up. So the first move up is what we're in now, which is an A wave in brackets. Okay, not just an A, but an A wave in brackets, right? Or some call them parentheses, I think. Not sure. But basically we're looking for 5 waves up. Okay. So this, although it looks like a straight line, right? It's meant to indicate 5 waves up. Okay, I've got my extension on. One sec. That was from yesterday, by the way. Okay, so we're looking for 5 waves up. So wave 1 was little. Wave 2. So now we're looking for wave 3. Now, mind you, it depends. We could be seeing like 5 waves up for wave 1, followed by wave 2, right? And then a wave 3, and then a wave 4, and then a wave 5, okay? We could be seeing that kind of thing happen, right? So that would mean that wave 5 would look a little bit like wave 1, obviously. Just to give you an idea, right? Now, this is the kind of structure we're looking for. 5 waves up in its entirety, okay? So whether or not we're just seeing a wave 1, we could potentially just be seeing something that goes straight up, okay? So like if you look at previous 5-wave moves, they go straight up. So wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see this and instead we saw what I had previously. Hang on, let me just undo some things here. Wouldn't be surprised if we just saw this 3, 5, right? For wave A. That's the kind of stuff that is very possible in an A wave because it's potentially going to be pretty strong, right? So much in part to do with the bottoming out of the US dollar, right? And that's just the first part. Then we need to potentially take profits up here, wait for a bit of a pullback, minimum 50%. And then depending on what pattern we see along the way, we'd be rebuying back in for the last move up. So, you know, wouldn't be a bad idea. That's the kind of thing I'm looking for. Now, that can work in many ways because even if this pattern does expand to the upside and goes even higher, right? I'm giving you minimum expectations here, okay? Because there is a change in the larger view of what's happening, right? Which this thing is going to go quite high. That's all I'm going to say for now. But in this particular pattern, we don't know what the D wave is going to do. We don't know if it's going to expand the way that wave B did, right? So if you have a look at wave B, this is a wave B, by the way, since March 2020. How can that be a B? Well, all the patterns are in there, right? That's an A wave. How can that be an A wave? All the patterns are in there, right? So waves aren't just simple, like Ellioticians claim that they are, like ABC done, we're going up. There's a lot more to it than that. So that's what Arias wave has basically that's why I created it. That's what it's there for, and that's what it's proving itself to be. So in this particular expanded type of pattern, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another expansion look similar to this, to the upside, okay? So this might answer the question is some people have asked me is why is the US dollar making a slightly high, like making a little move up, but yeah, XLM's moving up as well. Aren't they meant to be against each other? But the truth is that each chart has its pattern, and also each chart has its own buying pressures, right? Not all coins have performed the same, right? Look at XRP. It didn't really perform well compared to Stellar. That just means that every single chart has its own pattern. That's all it means, right? So yes, we do look at all the other charts as a guide, but we don't use it exclusively to tell us what's going on the chart. We use our knowledge of the waves, okay? That's the most important thing that I could really tell you right now, because a lot of people like to use other charts to help them with this other chart, which they like more because for whatever reason, they're just, I don't know, they think that everything is correlated, but it's not that simple, right? So it's like, take for example, right? You look at the first move down here, right? The first move here was an A, right? And then you had a pullback, right? So we'll just get rid of that. You had a pullback. So what was that pullback? Actually, this one is probably not a massive pullback, but it's still doesn't look like it on the chart. But if you look at the Fibonacci, it was actually a point. Hang on. Whoa, hang on. That's not right. Hang on a sec. Yeah. Yeah. It was actually pretty shallow. right? Because A wave actually, I believe A wave ended here. Yeah. So the problem with expanding corrections is that, and by the way, this is a glitch in the data, this move down. If you look at the other XLM chart, that's not there, because that would invalidate this pattern. So it's not always a good idea to assume that we're going to get a deep correction in a D wave when the A wave of the B wave in this B wave, sorry, this is just so much degrees of trend we're talking about here. The correction was very shallow, right? It barely touched 50%. It didn't even touch 50%, right? And then we had this other move up. So that's an A, B, C, D, E, and then C, right? So we got to be really careful here, because it's going to be hard, right? So we could either be seeing a deep correction, or we could be seeing an expanded correction, right? But this is where we got to be really careful. So I'm not going to say more than that right now. I have my ideas on what's going to happen, but I don't want to get too into that now, because that's a pretty deep subject. Because a lot has changed since this pattern ended, right? Because the majority of the move in the US dollar to the downside happened during this pattern. And we only have one more zigzag left. So we can't assume that that's going to expand a D wave, right? Because we saw in the B wave, we saw basically 1, 2, 3, 4, and now this is sort of where we are, right? I know it's not perfect representation. I'll try it again. So like, this is US dollar, by the way, in going, or you could say the euro. The euro is in reverse. Okay, the euro made a 1, right? Let's just okay, I'll just do this. Yeah, 3, right, and then a 4, which was actually more like a 3, 3. Yeah. Anyway, this is just for example's sake, right? It's a bit more complex than this. It's like, that. And then that's where we are now in the US dollar. And that's where we are now. Sorry, the euro. And that's where we are now in XLM. So it's not the same pattern, right? But it's the strength behind the initial move. Well, the first 4 waves of the euro is what is seen here, but except this is not the same pattern, but it still has the same sort of strength behind it, right? It's complex when it takes a lot of thinking to understand what I'm talking about there, but it's just like there's only one zigzag left in the euro going up, so therefore there's only one zigzag left in this move, but we shouldn't expect it to expand to the upside the way this one has, simply because it's the last move. So that means that this move, even though it could start off sharp, it might end up being weaker after we see that initial wave A. The wave C might start to get weaker, right? And it may not expand the way we saw B wave expand. So that's the sort of stuff that I'm keeping in my mind as we progress, because there could be an opportunity to rebuy, or there could be an opportunity to just get out, right? And wait and see what happens. But yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But this is the kind of thing that I'm looking for here. Good morning, Gabrielle. How you doing? No problem. We've only been going for half an hour or something, so it's all good. BTC bullish, of course. Like I've mentioned over the last previous live streams, Bitcoin is the leader, right? And I've also mentioned that the XLM BTC chart is not like the euro versus the USD, right? Because they're not really against each other, right? The euro is against the USD, and most fiat currencies are against the USD. But with the crypto, it's more like a measure of strength versus Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is far more expensive than any of these coins. So what I've learned from observing the charts in any BTC pair is that it's mainly there as a guide of, it's like a strength guide, right? So it's not something that you should be taking too literally, because it's not the same as looking at the inverse correlation between the euro and the USD. It's not the same. It took me a little while to figure that out, but it's become pretty clear because of the waves. The waves are there and they basically have the same pattern as the cryptos themselves. So that gave me the clue that it's about percentage gain versus Bitcoin. So I see a lot of percentage gain versus Bitcoin from this point on. Yeah. So good morning, Don. Welcome to the live stream. Just talking waves here today. The move up at the moment, it's no surprise at all, as per the title. Just explaining how wave B was, why wave B was expanded, but we shouldn't expect wave D to be crazy like B, right? It's similar to, like, for example, if you go to the small degree, right? Let's go back down to the 15-minute chart. Okay, well, let's go back to the XLM USD chart, right? So just say, like, for example, we had our A, B, C, and then look at the D wave, right? The D wave had a fairly deep correction. I'm not saying that the B wave didn't have a fairly deep correction, right? They were both reasonably deep, right? But the B wave wasn't really expanded, right? And neither was the D wave. And that's only a small degree move, okay? So the D wave was the correction, the B wave of the D wave was deeper than the B wave of the B wave, right? The B wave in brackets, that is. So, you know, there was a bit of, the D wave did have a bit of strength decline, but the E wave was short and sharp, right? And I told you last night in the live stream, if we break above the start of this move, we're going up. And even though it created this choppy pattern here, I could see the patterns that were all forming correctly, right? There was no problem with that. And then I knew that once we hit this area, we would encounter some resistance. So the first resistance came from breaking that high, right? From breaking the magenta line, right? And then that came back down, but that was just part of the wave 2 correction at the small degree. And then we came back up here and we hit the resistance, which was the previous high. But at the same time, we also encountered the resistance of the midway point of this channel that I have drawn previously in previous live streams, right? So this adds more confirmation that it had the strength to break out, that this is now wave 3. So this is just going to go straight up. And that's what we want. That's what you want to hear, right? That's exactly what you want to hear. Welcome, Matthew Fraser. How you doing? Oh, yes. Good to see you. Matthew's a member. Couple of members in the house. Good to see you. And he's smiling because he listened to the waves. He heard what they had to say back here when we made a bit of a dip. We weren't worried. We knew what was going on here. So we knew that this thing would do this. It's just good when you have that confidence, right? That knowledge. It helps you make a move in the right direction. So that's pretty cool. You know, I just want to say it's pretty cool because I've been doing it as well. So it's just not a surprise, and you shouldn't, once you learn the waves, it's not a surprise. It's just like, yep, we're just going through the motions here. And that's why I do live streams, because I'm a teacher, I'm mentor, but I'm not a financial advisor. So don't think that. Okay. Just get that out of your head. Welcome in, Vino. Veritas. That means truth in Spanish. So, I mean, look at this thing. I wonder what it looks like on the RSI. Look at it. It's bouncing around the highs on the RSI, but it doesn't care. It does not care that it's overbought. It will hang around that area because it's wave 3. Right? This is the one thing that you have to understand about RSI, is that it don't mean nothing in a wave 3. RSI will do this. It'll go boom, 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 the whole way. Maybe come down a little bit, boom, 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 boom. Well, for however long it goes, obviously, it's not going to go forever. But what I'm saying is, RSI is not really good for when you're trending in a wave 3. It does not really accurately represent any kind of signal that it's stopped moving, right? This is something I learned very early on by observing and doing back testing on RSI. I've done back testing on everything, right? You have to. How can you know if something works or not unless you back test it? And that's the key to everything that you should do ever is back test it. Has it always worked that way before? When does it work? When doesn't it work? So RSI is one of those things where, yeah, you got to be careful. Like, all the newbies using all these indicators here alone, man, they're probably getting slaughtered. And I remember being one of those newbies. So I can tell you from experience. Welcome, William. Good to see you. Good morning. So, that's pretty cool when you think about it, right? When you have all these little pieces of knowledge, everything goes with the waves, right? Even RSI doesn't compete with RS wave, right? Nothing does, because RS wave is the pattern itself. It's the pattern that is forming, right? Like, in a very precise manner, you can read the market. Okay. Yes, you can get it wrong, but when you get it right, well, that pays for your mistake, right? But that's only if you're margin trading or you freak out and sell. I don't recommend margin trading at the moment. We will get to that point in a little while, not quite yet. But at the moment, we're near a top. Okay, we're near a top, but we're not there yet. We still have a good run, a nice run left, couple of nice runs left. But we will have to take into consideration certain points where it's safer to be out, at least until we get some kind of confirmation, and I'll be tracking this thing like mad. Obviously, you know that, especially once we make 5 waves up. And that's going to be the guide. But like I always tell people, it's better to learn it yourself, so then you can trust the guide and trust your own gut, because you don't want to be having that uneasy feeling in your gut when you think that you got to go to bed and you're kind of worried about something, like you don't want that. That really sucks. You really just want to understand it and then just become part of the community, right? I have to mention this. Welcome, Mohammed. Welcome to the live stream. I have to mention this because it's obviously that time is fast approaching, where basically tomorrow or the 30th, wherever you are, is the last day of lifetime memberships, right? I have rewarded early adopters, right? And there's been a very awesome response, and I'm really happy about that. But it's the last day of $499 in XLM for the program. From now on, it's going to be $999 USD yearly subscription. That's right, yearly subscription. And the reason why is because I want to focus on my early adopters, and I also want to expand the content, which will help future people learn quicker. And also, I just wanted to reward early adopters. So that's what it's all about. So it's pretty good timing. I thought this would happen, and it's just something that must be done, because this is pretty powerful information, and it's good once you understand what's going on, because I can explain to you why. Oh, this is a wave 1. This is an A, B, C, D, E. But you really don't understand the bigger picture. You don't, right? I've had conversations with my early members, and they understand completely that I was on the right track with that kind of thinking, that it's not that easy, even if you have the material, at least not initially. It's not gonna, my analysis is geared towards my members. It's just fact, right? Because it can't be any other way. How can you just teach someone a methodology like this without giving them prior? Or how can I bring you ideas that you understand completely 100% without me first giving you prior knowledge, so then you understand these ideas, right? It's like you need a translator for these ideas, and the translator is Arius Wave, right? So that doesn't mean that I'm not going to give my full attention to everybody, but time is a limited resource, and I don't want to overwhelm myself, but I will definitely be able to handle the growing amount of members that I have, because I will fine tune everything, and I will have more time to allocate to people. So I'm going to be transitioning a lot of my time into this stuff for people, for my members, for people who want to learn how these work, what's going on, the whole backstory, the whole understanding of every single chart pattern on any chart. You bring me the chart, I'll tell you what's on it. All right, that's just the way it is, because human behavior is the same across the board. It's just that we give it, we look at, we don't price everything the same. Humans don't price everything the same at the same time. So obviously there's going to be the same pattern on different charts. They're going to have different prices at different times. They're going to be in different degrees of trend, and they're also going to be pointing in different directions depending on how, well, they're all basically against the US dollar. Everything's against the US dollar, right? So you can basically just use US dollar as a guide to when you should be in or out of any market, technically, but you got to understand how that works as well. Okay, there's a lot more to it than just that. So it's critical to know this stuff if you want to expand your, you know, if you want to diversify into other areas, it's a good idea to know more charts, right? It's going to make it fun for you as well, because you don't want to just be trading XLM for the rest of your life. Maybe you do, that's fine. If you do, you're in the right place. But I will probably branch out into other coins eventually, but to me, it's I need to prove a point. I need to establish the groundwork, and then we'll move on to bigger and better things. Of course, there's always something bigger waiting around a corner. You just got to find it. Welcome, Chasing Watermelons. Sorry you're late. Well, you've been chasing watermelons. What can I say? Can you give us a time frame for us to hit 60 cents? Ooh, I don't like the time questions, but we are in a wave 3, so I don't think it will take too long. Okay. Wave 3s are typically meant to be the sharpest wave, especially once they really start hitting that midpoint. And like I mentioned before, we are heading towards the highs. So we'll probably hit 90 cents over the next couple of months, in my opinion. When impulsive moves start, they don't take long, right? Could be 2 to 3 months, or could be 2 months, could be less. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but I do know what the waves are saying to me. So I just use the waves as a guide. Sometimes corrections can expand for a little longer, right? We can't know that. We don't know how long a correction will be, right? Sometimes wave 2s are fairly quick, right? This particular wave 2 took a little bit longer, right, to turn the corner. Like, you know, when a car turns the corner, it has to slow down first, right? And then it turns the corner. Sometimes it, you know, makes a big bounce, but that's just calling bottoms. And, you know, you can do that too if you're really good at it. But generally, the pattern takes time to turn the corner because it's like a car. You know, we've got to get the bulls into bear mode or the bears into bull mode. And that's a mass psychology thing, right? So it's not going to happen all in one go, but wave 3s are sharp. We should see some progress soon. And we're hitting our next confirmation point, as I mentioned before, is 34 cents, 35 cents, followed by 46 cents. And then obviously it's 79 cents for the break of the highs. But we need to really, the thing I really need to make sure that you understand is we need to count the waves as we go up. Okay. That's the key. You need to count the wave. You need to identify every pattern on the way up, and then you'll know when you're near a top. Okay. Because there is only a certain amount of waves that occur in a 5-wave move. So you need to identify it and then make a call. Say, hey, this looks like a 5 waves up is done. I might just hop out for a little while, take a breather, you know, cash in some chips, and then reevaluate the situation before I make another decision. You know, it's not, everything's not as easy as what I make it sound. It's not. It's just that I have experience, and obviously I do this for a reason. And you're starting to see some movement in XLM. It's just starting to go boom, boom, boom. But that's wave 3 for you, right? We have to see this thing go vertical. Like, look at wave 1. That went pretty vertical, but wave 3 is going to go more vertical because it's the longest wave. Okay. So will I stop the daily streams? I don't do daily streams necessarily. I've just been covering more this bottoming process to give you an understanding of how you can use Arius Wave to change the view when you're wrong, adjust your count, and to then understand why you adjusted your count. Not just say, oh, I'm just adjusting my count because it didn't look right before. No, I had a reason for it, right? I had to go back again and look at the whole pattern, right? You have a reason for adjusting your count, and then you see that it made a result. It produced a result, okay? Purely by using the waves, okay? So to me, it's more about updating you, especially now that we're heading into this important time where, you know, lifetime memberships are about to run out. Never again will there be lifetime memberships at this price anyway. And it's just going to be a yearly thing, and I'll just keep growing and growing and growing because that's just what happens. You know, we live in an expanding universe, so expect things to expand, everything, including the money supply. So welcome, Bobbert. Good to see you. That's a very optimistic view you have there. Good on you. Yeah, so yes, yes, this is the thing to count. Yes, I mean, when I said this was going to be a wave three, you know, wave threes don't muck around, right? That's the whole point of understanding the waves. Is you want to be in that. Like, just say, for example, you're margin trading this, right? I mean, how are you going to know when to get out? Like most people on TradingView, right? They say, oh, we have this target. We have this target, right? But you can't always have a target. You can't always have a target because you don't know how long that wave will be until you count the waves. I know that it's amazing to have ideas and share your thoughts and, you know, but, you know, it's like you've got to track it along the way because we can't know these things, right? We can't know exactly where it's going in the first move. Maybe the first move is longer than I thought. Maybe it's just going to go way high. I don't know. But then if that's the case, we've got to pay really close attention to the correction in the B wave, because then we're going to want to have to trade up the second move, which is going to be just as big, right? So there's just so much to learn. It's just really cool because it's fun and you get to make money, and obviously money is a pretty cool motivator. So yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of why I did the live stream. We wanted to see that candle move up, and you know what? I did it. So it's just that confidence, you know, like that's the kind of thing that you need in trading, is that confidence, right? Because if you don't have confidence in trading, then why do you think that it's a good idea to put money on the line? Why? It's just probably not a good idea. It's probably going to hurt. I mean, through experience, obviously, we most of us know how it hurts. We want to actually just make progress, right? Isn't just better to just make progress, right? Isn't that the whole point of this thing in the end? So that was my goal, you know, and that was my goal, is to understand every single wave. And believe me, it took me, wow, it's been a crazy 6, 7, 8 years, put it that way. Okay. But I don't regret it. I do not regret one bit of it because it is amazing and I love sharing it. And it's pretty cool, right? I used to hear things like, oh, wave threes are hardest to know when they're going to start. And I thought, you know what? I want to know when it starts. I want to find out exactly how these waves work. And one day I'm going to know what every single wave is. I'm going to know what every single move is doing. I just made it my goal. I made it my goal. I want to know what every single thing is going on the chart, on every market. Eventually it happened, which was really crazy. Like, that's just bizarre, like how you can actually focus on something so much. And if you put the right attention on it, you can manifest some pretty cool stuff, right? That is pretty impressive. So yeah, I still can't believe it myself, to be honest. Sometimes it's pretty cool stuff. That's all I can say. Not really covering XRP in this update because we're basically about to hit our time limit for this update. But I will be posting some more TradingView updates soon. I've just been dealing with some admin stuff, you could say, over the last, end of the month. You understand what I'm saying? As well as other things. So, but over the next, after June 30, heading into July and onwards, I'm going to start more TradingView ideas coming through. And I'll be updating on a lot of stuff over the next month or so, and just going to keep that going and work on other stuff too. I've just been focusing a lot on just getting people on board and also bringing people good analysis live, right, with clear visual proof, right? Because that's what people like these days. They like to see the proof happen in front of them live. If you can't do that, then you don't have a chance. I'm sorry, you don't. Right? You need to establish credibility. Okay, so that's what I thought anyway. So that's why I've been busy with that. So, well, everything's supposed to be going up. Okay, why would not XRP not go up? I mean, technically, we have to wait and see. I'm going to look at it. I'll post again soon on that one. It's a very complex pattern, but yeah, like there's been other coins that have been moving up pretty big already, right? This one was inevitable, but there have been other coins that have made some pretty decent moves over the last couple of days. So, I'm just focusing on XLM at the moment until, like I said, July. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to hear people's thoughts and ideas about what they did in the end. Like, did they sell? Did they sell early? Like, did they hit a target early and sell, and then it kept going up? I want to hear. I want to find out. I'm gonna find out. I want to know what people think. Like, it's that knowledge that helps you. I'm telling you, it's just that not knowing. It's like trading blind. It's like a blind trade. Like, oh, this looks like it's moving up. Let's put some money on. Oh, I made a profit. I think I made enough profit for today. Yeah, I'm gonna just sit this one out for a bit, and then miss the whole move, basically. I mean, who does that? XDC. I haven't really looked into it that much, right? I do have it on my list of future coins. I believe it's on my list. Yeah. So I will be covering other coins, like I said, next month. I don't really like anything until I've really dug into it. Like, I have XLM and XRP. I like them both. At the moment, yeah, like I said, I've been really busy with this end of month thing. So yeah, I don't want to overcommit and then bring out sloppy analysis. I don't want to do that. That's one thing. That's the one reason why I have been very careful and selective with certain ideas that I bring. It's just because I've been so busy, but that's fine. That's going to change next month because I've cleared some time for that. and I would have got the end of the month stuff out the way because it's just been crazy. But look, all coins are going to go up. Okay. Even if, well, you know, you got to use your XLM BTC chart, or you got to use your coin versus BTC chart and understand it to understand how it's going to perform against Bitcoin, because that's the yardstick. The BTC cross pairs is the yardstick. But you got to think about the percentage gains, right? It doesn't matter what coin you're looking at. You got to look at the percentage gains. Okay, they can all move up, but in terms of percentage gain, will they outperform Bitcoin? And that Bitcoin is that yardstick. That's why we have, that's how I look at those pairs. So to me, this one, XLM, is going to perform extremely well against Bitcoin over the next several years, right? And that's why it's really interesting to me to follow this coin, at least as at a base point, like just have it as the one that I cover always, and then have other coins that I also cover, because I also have found, you know, reason to cover them, right? So yeah. Oh, I have a few coins. Yeah. I mean, it's okay to have a few of each at the right time. Yes. But there's a but. Like I said to you, there's a right time to have them and the wrong time to have them. I've explained that a few times. Let's just see how things play out, because this is just the beginning of something that's going to happen that's a lot bigger than what you could imagine. So there's no point worrying about what's the right coin right now, because I'm telling you, there's no point. There's going to be so much stuff coming soon, volatility wise, over the next, you know, end of year 2022. I reckon 2022 is going to be a turning point for something pretty big. So I'll keep an eye on that. I'll let you know. But yeah, apart from that, let's move forward and we'll talk some more soon. Just thought I'd give you this update to confirm that wave 3 is underway according to the count. I can't see anything else happening. Okay. So just remember to sign up if you want to be a lifetime member, because there's no more lifetime membership after tomorrow, 30th of June, wherever you are. So that's about it, really. Yes, I think you missed a number there. Yeah. Yeah, see, that one's on my list for sure. There's a lot more stuff to be done here. A lot more research is going to happen soon. So just trying to get the community going, because I know once I get that community going, there's going to be this synergy in the community that's going to grow, and it's going to be really cool, right? Because we're going to have a whole bunch of people who are on the same page, and they're going to literally just, yeah, it's going to be closed for sure, but it's just going to be cool. I reckon it's going to be very interesting indeed. So is there any trial period? No, there's no trial period, right? Especially right now, where it's the cheapest it's ever going to be. That's why I've been doing live streams. That's why I've been doing ideas. I've already got substantial amount of people on board. So, you know, it's not going to be cheaper than this anymore. So whatever, it is what it is, right? I'm sure that once we hit our targets, it'll pay for itself anyway. So whatever. Um, it's basically about making money. So if you can learn how to make money, then something like this, it won't mean anything in the end. It'll just be like a community of people who are really interested in the waves, and they're really good at understanding the waves. And you know what I'm trying to say, right? You know what I'm trying to say? Like I'm after decent people, right? People who are loyal, who want to learn, who want to share, who want to contribute their ideas, their knowledge to the, RES Wave community in closed group. So I'm trying to get there. That was one of my visions right from the beginning. But in order to get there, we needed to show the proof and then get people on board, and all that is all happening. But yeah, lifetime membership, it can't last forever because this thing is valuable, and it's going up just like XLM is, right? Because XLM is valuable. Well, look, over the long run, it's going to be completely not where it is now. Right. But we got to understand what's going to cause these moves to happen the way that they happen. So I'm only going to give you pieces of information along the way. I can't give you everything. I have given a lot of information in the past, in a lot of ideas previous. You just have to go look at them. They're online, they're on videos. I mean, they're already been posted. There's only so many times I can repeat myself before I start feeling a little bit nutty and a little bit cuckoo, right? But a lot of stuff, that long-term stuff, has already been, pinpointed. But there's a lot more also that's been developing lately, which, you know, it's still early days. So we still haven't seen the bulk of this move yet. So I'm pretty sure, that we're going to get there. So, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you've got to do it right. You can't just, because these days, I mean, I don't even call it a course. This course business, I don't believe in courses, right? I believe in real knowledge. And like I said, it's like a program you install in your mind, right? It's like a special filter that you put in your brain that you could see waves better. That's it, right? It helps you do that. It gives you like another level of, you know, it gives you like a superpower in a way, right? It gives you that special lens. That's why sometimes I say it's RES wave lens. It's because it's not a course. A course is like, you got to do module A, you got to do module 1A, 1B, and then you graduate and then you get a certificate. No, no, we don't want that. We don't want that at all. We want to just get you learning it and get you understanding it and then applying it and then talking to me and, you know, asking me questions. I'm always available to answer questions. A lot of people don't want to ask questions, maybe not until later. Some people do. Everyone's different, right? And everybody does it at their own pace. So, that's a good thing, by the way. Imagine you have had an avalanche of people come at you all at once, asking you questions, We'd have to set up a webinar or something. That could be something as well. But a lot of one-to-one stuff is good. And I'm really like working with people. So everyone is different, and yeah. So this is goodbye. Yes. I think basically we just need to be patient on this one now. We've talked the talk. Uh, we need to walk the walk. Maybe when we break the magenta line, I'll put out another live stream. Right. That's 34 cents. So when we hit 35 cents, I'll put out another live stream. How's that? All right. But for now, I've got to head back to TradingView and start posting some stuff there because I've been neglecting my TradingView followers a little bit, not that much, a little bit. So you've got to balance things out. So I'm going to try and do that. So hopefully it's been good, and I'll catch you on the next one. So peace and good night, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Catch you on the next one. Ciao.